Hello everyone and welcome to Azam Shah Weekly. And in this video, I want to show you how you can get started with Xcode Cloud. But before we dive into those details, let's first understand what exactly is Xcode Cloud. So if you go to developer.apple.com/Xcode Cloud, you will be on the home page of the documentation. And Xcode Cloud is a continuous integration and delivery service built into Xcode. So this means that it's basically be making sure that when your team or individually, when you are checking in the code to your GitHub account or Mercurial account, and there are like a lot of different accounts it can manage for your source control, but I think the most popular one is GitHub. So when you are going to be integrating with any kind of a source control, and I'm just going to use GitHub, then it's going to perform like testing. And it can run a lot of different steps depending on the workflow. Apart from that, it's also a delivery service, meaning that it can build the application, run the test. If those tests passes, then it can perform delivering the app to the testers or even pushing it out to the App Store. And you can check out their page, automated workflows, parallel testing built into Xcode. So that's pretty good that it's actually built into Xcode. You don't have to install any other tool. And let's go to the pricing part of it. And recently, the pricing is for 25 compute hours is actually free. So what does that mean, 25 compute hours? Well, let's take a look at an example. Let's say that if your tests are taking 10 minutes to run, all right, so that's going to be 10 minutes. 10 minutes for that particular test is going to go against 25 hours that you have for that month. Maybe 10 minutes for the test to run, and then let's say 5 minutes to build, 5 minutes for deployment, and so on. So this is already like 20 minutes you have already used out of your 25 hours, which are free on on the compute hours that you have for free. All right. So let's go ahead and see that how we can set up a project which uses Xcode Cloud. Now, I'm not going to use some existing project. We're just going to create a brand new project and work with that. But it can be any project that you have. Okay. So you don't really have to use a specific or a special project. If you have any project, you can use it. All right. So let me go ahead and create a brand new project. So I'm just going to go ahead and launch Xcode. Okay, so here's the app. I'm going to go create a project. Let's just call it Xcode Cloud Demo. Okay, that's the name of the project, and everything else is fine. I'm just going to say on the desktop is fine. Okay, so that's kind of like a Swift UI application. We're not really doing anything over here. I mean, I don't even have any test or anything. But once again, it can be any kind of a project. I mean, if you have a Swift data, core data, you have a client server application, it can be any project that you have, you can use that. All right. The first thing that you need to do when you are using Xcode Cloud is you have to make sure that your project does have a repository. Okay, so right now you can see the project is right there on the screen, meaning on the desktop, but it's not really a repository. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into, I'm not sure what happened, but here we go. We're just going to go ahead and jump into over here. Okay, looks like it's fine. So now I'm inside the Xcode Cloud demo project, and we haven't really written any code. That doesn't really matter. The next thing I want to do is to initialize the Git repository. Okay, so we have initialized Git repository. That's good. I can say Git status. And nothing really is being tracked right now because we just initialized the repository. You can use terminal. You can use any other program for GitHub or Git if you want. That's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and add everything and then commit and write something, let's say a starter project or something. But currently this does not really have any, repository that is available, meaning we still have to go online to github.com, create a repository, hook it up to Xcode Cloud demo. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and launch the over here browser. I'm going to go to GitHub, create a new repository. Make sure you select the correct owner. I'm going to select the owner, repository name over here. I'm just going to call it Xcode Cloud Demo. Okay. Description, whatever, public, that's fine. You want to add, ignore, and all that stuff, that's fine. I'm just going to use the default one, and it gives me all this information. We have already committed it. Branch should be okay. So we've already done the couple of steps when we did git init and git add, git commit. We don't really need to rename our branch to anything. I think our branch is called the main branch. So the only thing we need to do is to remote, like git remote add origin, and then push it. So let's go back. I'm just going to copy this line, paste it. And now we can do a git push upstream and then origin. There we go. Great. So now if I go back and refresh, you can see that all the code that I have is over here. So this is nothing new. We have just committed our code and pushed our code to github.com. So now let's go ahead and see that how we can configure our Xcode Cloud. We're going to go to this last option, and it's called the Report Navigator. And you can see that we have a local builds. So this is all the builds that you are going to be running locally. And this is the cloud. The cloud is not really configured, so you will see build, test, and distribute, get started. So we have to click on this button, get started. Now this is kind of like a weird thing because it tells you that the project is not under Git source control, which is not really true. So maybe this is a bug. To create an Xcode Cloud workflow, the first create a Git repository. It is already a Git repository. All right, so now it's going to say it is already a Git repository. So it's kind of weird that we can running into this situation. So how do we fix this? It's obviously a bug in Xcode Cloud. I mean, it should be able to find out that if this is a Git repository or not, because whenever something is a Git repository, if I clear it, it has a Git folder. So just to make Xcode Cloud happy, I can go ahead and delete it and add it through that. But it's I mean, how are you going to work with old projects which already has a Git repository like .git folder? So it's kind of weird that it's even at this stage where you're trying to simply tell it that, hey, I want to add this particular folder and this is my project folder and this is my Git repository, it's still bugging out. I mean, it's just messing up. You can see that, right? Create Git repositories because now it's already a Git repository, so can't really do that. Okay, so just to make it happy, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the .git folder, which is obviously you can't really do that in the older projects. If you have a project running, I mean, it will be a messy situation. Okay, now let's see what happens. Git repository, create. At least it didn't go and give me that particular error, but now we are just like, okay, what are we supposed to be doing, right? Okay, so it didn't even give us this before. I had to click it again to get this. Okay, if I say add existing remote, now it's basically asking for like a location of the remote. All right, so we need to put the correct location of the remote, and we actually do have the location for the remote because that is the actual repository that we created. So let's go ahead and get that particular remote and put it there. And in order to get the remote location, we can always go to our github.com. You can select this HTTPS. There we go, selected. And let's go ahead and paste it over here and add. Again, I mean, is it adding? Has it added? There is no confirmation, nothing going on. You can see we're just sitting there, not much going on over here. Let's go ahead and again click on Get Started. Okay, so I guess it didn't really present it the same menu again, so I guess we will move forward. And now we can review our workflow. The workflow simply means that this is going to happen when the build is run. Start condition, branch, it will be using the main branch. Actually, that's the only branch that we have. Then we have the environment, latest release, currently using this is the environment that we are using. Action, meaning what is this Xcode Cloud build is supposed to do. So you can see the action over here is archive. So it's not really going to run any tests or anything. It's just going to be archiving. And do we have any post actions? So we don't really have any post actions. So post actions can be, maybe you want to send a build out to the test flight so your testers can check it out. Or you want to send notification or send it to the App Store. Let's go next. It's trying to load the code repositories. If it was able to find it, that's good. Let's go next again. Okay, that also looks now. Hopefully at this point, the name should be okay, because what's going to happen at this step, and this is an important step, is it's going to go and try to create this bundle identifier on your iTunes Connect. So make sure that this particular bundle identifier and the app name is unique. So let's go ahead and say complete. If it's not unique, then whole Xcode is going to crash. And it actually did crash. If you saw it, it actually did crash. So that's funny. So let's go ahead and try to run it again. Try to see what happened. Usually, if it's the name of the project, if it's colliding with some other name, a better approach would be to just tell the developer that, hey, this name has already been taken. All right, but instead of doing that, you can see it just crashed out. So if I go, it's going to do the same exact steps as you can see. Okay. There is no app on App Store Connect with bundle identifier com.azam.xcode. A new app with the following properties will be created, and Xcode Cloud build for this will be associated with it. So basically it's saying that the Xcode Cloud is going to be creating an app on the App Store Connect. That's the most important part. All right. Now, is there any name on the App Store, I guess, that is colliding with this? There is a possibility that there might be some name of the app that is colliding with this particular name. All right. And instead of just telling us that, hey, this name is colliding and already taken, it just crashes. So if I go ahead and do a complete again, you will see, boom, it just crashed, right? So that's a bug, a pretty big bug, if you ask me. I mean, I'm not sure how this even got passed through the Apple QA people, quality assurance people. That is not a good sign. Okay, so what do we have to do? Well, and this is just what I'm thinking. I mean, it can be anything, right? But I think this Xcode Cloud demo, maybe somebody has already taken that name. So what we want to do is to make sure that this is, well, unique. So let's go ahead and see how we can make it unique. So we're going to start with clicking on the project Xcode Cloud demo. Okay, that's a lot of stuff over here. Let's go to our build settings, which is right there. And using the filter, we're going to go ahead and search for the product name. Okay, the product name, as expected, it is Xcode Cloud Demo because that's the name of the project also. And what I'm thinking is that maybe somebody has already taken that name. So let's go ahead and try to change this. So what should we change this to? Well, I can say Xcode Cloud demo. I wonder if you cannot even use Xcode in the name. I mean, there can be a possibility. And then I'm going to say 9876, some random stuff over here. Okay. Okay, so that's the only thing I've changed. Let's go ahead and build it. I know the name kind of looks weird now. Let's go back to our cloud again. Okay, so we can definitely see a changed name over here. Just make sure that you remember that name. Don't use this name, obviously. Use a different name. Let's go next. Okay, let's go next. All right, let's go complete. Okay, there we go. So I guess it was the name, right? Now it's telling us choose a branch to start your build. Well, again, there's a problem over here. I cannot really choose a branch. The only branch that we have is the main branch, and it doesn't allow me to choose it. You can see I'm clicking it, completely broken, nothing really going on. Okay, not sure what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to say close maybe. Okay, I guess it's already added probably. I mean, the main branch was the only branch, so I'm just going to say start build. So let's do one thing. Let's go back to our content view. I'm going to remove some code over here so I can push out a new build. And now I'm going to say git status. Okay. We have this file called dsstore, nothing to do with what we're doing. So I'm just going to create a git ignore. We don't really want to push this file. It has nothing to do with our code. So make sure that you put the name of this file ds_store. Okay. And now we can say git status because we do have to check in git ignore file, git add, git commit. I thought we said git add. Okay, git add, git commit. And what are we committing? Well, let's just say removed image from view. And now we can hopefully say git push. Okay, so it got pushed. And now let's go back to our Xcode Cloud. Okay, there we go. You see that? Right over here. Removed image from view, build one. I do wonder that, yeah, there we go. So you can see the build is going on. It's kind of hard to see sometime, but it would have been nicer if it's a little bit more visible, but you can see that now on the cloud, because that's the option that we have selected, is everything is on the cloud right now. And we're just waiting for this build to complete on the cloud. So Apple will be running it on their own, cloud-based systems and all that, testing it on multiple devices or the devices that we have set. And it's going to take some time. And if you add unit tests to it, then it's going to take even more time. And if you add UI tests to it, then it's going to be, it's going to take even exponentially more time. And what I have experienced with, if you're writing your UI test, then most of the time I'm just getting it like to be failed. And there we go. Congratulations that we were able to, run our application, build our application on Xcode Cloud. As you can see, Xcode Cloud does have bugs. And I think I ran into pretty much all the bugs anyone can run into. So that's great because you were able to see all the stuff that you may encounter and how do you resolve those things. All right. So hopefully they will, Apple will make it better in the upcoming years. But currently, it's still buggy. You can use it, but it's still pretty buggy right now, as you have seen. Okay. But for your cases, I mean, if you are like an individual developer or whatever, you're trying to build something, maybe you have already gone through these bugs and it's running out smooth, and then it's nice and much better. All right. So that's pretty much it. Hope you have enjoyed this video for Xcode Cloud. Sorry about all the bugs, but hey, hopefully all of these bugs will be fixed in the future. It's still a new platform, new framework, and it's going to take some time to mature. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much. Like the video, share the video. Thank you. This video is brought to you by Azam Sharp School, and you can go to azamsharp.school and find all of my different courses. You can see that I have a lot of different courses on many different technologies. So we have courses on MVVM, test-driven development, reactive programming, Swift data, MV pattern, full stack iOS development. There's no course out there that actually tackles full stack iOS development, meaning you are responsible for creating the client and you are responsible for creating the server. We will use Vapor. We have courses on Reality Kit. I'm sure that a lot of people are interested in Vision OS. Well, check out Reality Kit. That's a great course. And a lot of other courses. You can see a huge list. All right. Apart from that, I do provide membership options. If you use the membership monthly, you will get access to all of these courses, which is 120 plus hours of video. And if you want to save a little bit more money, you can actually use the annual membership for $249. All right, you're going to get the same amount of things, but you're going to save a little bit of more money. All right, thank you so much, and thank you for your continued support. See you in the future.